the muscles from my right leg. So that in itself was a huge discipline to try and get back to where you are and start to win competitions again. I like the competitive aspect of it as well.
So as you were starting to do ballet and you were learning about ballet itself, I mean, was the ballet you liked? What aspects of the ballet did you like? Was it the discipline of it? Was it the sheer, in a weird way, the freedom of the dancing? Or the culture of it as well? And specific ballets that you really liked and the ideas and what it was trying to present?
I think it starts with a lot of things. We've all got this in common. We've probably all got heroes of some sort. And one of my greatest heroes was Margot Fonteyn. So I wanted to emulate her as best I could. And it was the fantasy. She was an amazing dancer, not just for her technique, but the fact that she had this wonderful charisma, which is the difference between being just a ballerina and being a prima ballerina. And she was the absolute top of her game and went on for years and years. Too long, really, because her husband had got shot and he was a cripple, and she had to take care of him. So she was the only breadwinner. He was paraplegic for years. Obviously, he was quite a vibrant man when they married, and then she ended up having to look after him for the rest of her life.
Yeah.
So she carried on, and it just shows you what amazing strength she had, of mind and of body. But also, to answer your question, it's the fantasy aspect of ballet. You can transport yourself into another world. And most of the ballets that you see, Swan Lake is my favourite probably, you can see the fantasy, the stories, and you actually have to learn how to act stories in ballet. So that there are lessons.
What kind of way? Physically,
yeah,
facial expressions.
And facial expressions, yeah. Another thing is I used to love improvisation. I think that's a punk aspect of it all as well. I would practice lots of ballets, and you would have every step down, and then at the very last minute, I remember once at a very big competition, I decided at the very last minute just to make it all up.
Yeah. Can you do that? I thought ballet was all very, very words out.
It was. My dancing teacher was going absolutely bonkers.
Okay, this is your version.
Yeah. She was just looked at me and went, for 3, what was going through her head was 3 months we've been rehearsing this. There's not one step that is in every sentence. And I won.
Well, because of the improvisation.
Yeah, I'm sure it was. It was the freedom of mind that made me able to dance really something very, very special that night. I beat somebody who'd actually got into the Royal Ballet School to do that. Eric Jarman's film, and that sort of came after, and I managed to do something that really a lot of ballerinas couldn't do. I was in a film, and it was again all improvised, and it's a lasting piece of work, which my little dream came true with that.
Yeah.
Without having to go through years of
hell.
I mean, you have to soak your tights off normally because you get blood coming from your toes. I mean, I used to have to put my feet in cold water after every performance just to soak the tights off.
There's something very punk about that, the extremity of it, the sheer beauty of a ballet dancer dancing, and the idea that their feet get ripped to pieces.
Mm-hmm.
So that makes me think of early punk,
I know.
a very extreme culture. In a way, ballet and punk you would think were opposite ends of the spectrum. There's a lot of weird discipline crossovers here, isn't there?
There is. For me, I saw it as that improvisation side of it was the punk aspect for me, if you want to call it punk. It's the idea of freedom, and it doesn't matter. I didn't ever worry about offending anyone on stage.
Yeah.
Actually, I did offend somebody once because my strap at my tutu broke, revealing.
I thought that's what you did it every day for about 3 years.
I made a lot of great friends as well. You know, it's wonderful. I used to do these duets as well, and I used to do character dancing too, and that's quite fascinating. You know, you have to learn the cultural aspects of, say, a Russian dance. So you have to learn about the culture and the movements of the dance, and I really did quite well at that as well.
So I mentioned an interesting insight to you as a person is like what you talked about before, the car accident, and the way you kind of came back from that. I mean, was there a point in time, you were in hospital, was it about 9 months? It was a long time,
no, I was only in hospital for 3 months.
Yeah.
But I had to learn to walk again, so...
All the time you were determined to go back to the ballet.
Well, I was very disappointed because my dancing teacher was crestfallen and she was inconsolable. Yeah, I remember she brought me this little potted plant to the hospital, and I could just see her crying, and she went, "You're never going to dance again." And
what you did?
I did, yeah.
And what level did you get to? Did you get to a level?
Right back where I was.
Oh really? Wow.
A year after I got dancing again, and got the muscles back on this leg, I got 98 points out of 100 for classical ballet at the festival, Eastbourne Festival. It's a really big one. And that's just, I don't know, I think it gave me more determination to do even better.
And you were dancing, you did the ballet till you were about 18, weren't you?
Yeah, then I came up to London.
It was crossing over the bump here as well, wasn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I had my tutu, and I used to take that with me wherever I went. So if there was it was in a little box, and I used to, whenever I moved flat in London, it was there. You know, it was there when Johnny Thunder stayed. It was forever a bit of my life, I guess. Yeah.
Because famously, the first time you went to the shop, Mark and Vivian's shop, you danced down the King's Road in your ballet.
Yeah.
Or your appropriation of your ballet outfit. Yeah.
Well, Vivian remembers what I was wearing the first time she met me, which is quite astounding because I didn't. So she's obviously got a really good memory of it. But it was my ballet gear. I used to just wear tights and my leotard and a lovely pair of really high stilettos, my hair right up. And I used to, you can see those early photos that Sheila Rock took actually, you can see it's almost a balletic pose outside the shop. And Vivian said, she never used to dance in the shop. And I obviously did, but never when she was there. We used to dance around all over the place in there.
Yeah. And that was till you were 18?
Yeah. I mean, 18, 19, danced all the time. I did a dance at Andrew Logan's.
Oh, the Pistols gig? Yeah. I mean, was that just a spontaneous thing, or was that what you asked to do?
I was asked to do it, yeah. So everyone went in a big circle around, and I had a sort of ready-made stage for me on the floor. It's really good.
So another sort of odd crossover.
Otto Preminger was there.
Really?
Yes.
But Vivian knew, didn't she?
She did.
She actually taught you to a ballet, didn't she?
She did. Don't know if anyone remembers. You can see some old shots of this. Shots of the shop where there's a woman from the Chinese ballet. She's all in red and she's doing a great big leap with this wonderful costume on. And she obviously had this in her mind as a beautiful image. She didn't know anything about ballet as such, but she had this in her mind as a beautiful image. And one day out of the blue, she just said, well, would you like to come out with me? I've got us 2 tickets. And she took me to the Cuban ballet. And when you think how many years ago, I can remember so much about that. It was just, took your breath away. I mean, these male dancers were just stupid. I mean, you were saying, weren't you, about the Cuban
even when they
men,
walk, they look like they're dancing.
You know, it's like they were flying, literally flying through the air. And with such power and also, bravado, it's a wonderful. I mean, I was saying earlier, wasn't I, that you cannot have false modesty if you're going to be somebody that's that famous and beautiful. You have to really, really tell everybody that you're the best.
I mean, that's interesting you're saying that. This idea that to be the main ballerina, you have to tell everyone you are the main ballerina. It seems like an incredibly egotistical backstage, but that's just the way it is? That's just what people expect?
most of the people, the women in a corps de ballet, which is the ballerinas that make up the chorus, so to speak, and the backdrop of the prima ballerina. You can see it when you go to the ballet. They all look on in amazement, and they're actually looking.
Like fans.
Yes. Yeah. They're happy, and one day they might be that person.
Yeah.
That's what they're aspiring to. So they're looking at every movement that dancer does, and one day might emulate it.
But it's more than just learning all the moves, isn't it? You've got to have that little extra thing, like Nureyev.
Yes.
He ticked every box.
He did. Yeah.
So what would he have that would make him extra to?
Well, Rudolf Nureyev came into 430 Kings Road, and even he dressed so awfully as well. I couldn't believe what he was dressed like.
What was he wearing?
He had a safari suit on.
Oh God. Only Brian Ferry could get away with that.
Really bad. And he had this dreadful cap on as well. It was really awful.
Did you have a word?
No.
That's not like you. I thought you were quite stern.
I just looked at him and thought, what can you say? There's nothing right about this. You look like Tony Curtis out of The Persuaders.
And had he come in to buy anything at all?
Yeah, he'd come in with his boyfriend to look at the leather gear, I think. But even as he walked into the shop, you could see the way he held himself.
So despite everything, he still looked like the number one. So yeah. It's a sort of 24 hours a day charisma, I would say. It's not put on. It's how he was, and most dancers are like that. They have that. So in a way, he knew he was so good, he could wear the worst clothes possible.
I'm hoping that. I've been clinging on to that for some years.
Were you not tempted to tell him that you do a little bit of ballet?
Oh no, it'd be even worse than say to Frederick Ashton. Keep stum about that. No way I would have said that.
Yeah.
But he probably would have recognised that you do see. I can tell people who've done ballet in the street.
Oh, is it? So it really is like a bit like the Fight Club, isn't it?
You can
nod
see
and a wink.
Yeah. You can.
Yeah.
You see it in hand movements, and the most amazing thing about ballet is that I know that whenever you see a female dancer in particular who has to go on point, they are going through absolute agony at every minute. And yet the trick is to have your face in a relaxed but powerful stance.
Do you have to learn that?
Yes.
The teacher.
Yeah. Always, yeah.
So what's that face? Just do the face.
You have to always elongate your neck and keep your shoulders down, which is so hard when you're in pain, because you always tend to want to do that.
So which bit's harder? The feet hurting or having to look like they're not hurting?
Yeah, you've got to sort of separate the top of your body from the bottom. And you have to imagine that you've got a steel rod, a core that's going right from the top of your head. My dancing teacher used to say, tap me on the head like this. And that then your brain sort of says, okay, it's going all the way down my spine.
Wow, it's tough, super tough.
Yeah, I mean, bang your legs apart and.
Oh, they actually hit you in.
Yeah. I mean, not bad, but
but reminding you a lot.
Push it out. Yeah.
I mean, why did it end up like that? Why did it end up being such an extreme sort of disciplined way of moving? For the original history of ballet. Obviously, when it started, it would be one thing, and it's got more difficult as it's gone along.
Yes, it has. I mean, nowadays, you see male dancers on point, which again is very, very difficult because they're heavier, and they've obviously got longer feet as well, which is very difficult. I tell you just quickly, I saw a really great program the other day. It was just about shoes actually, but when you get a pair of point shoes, they actually went to Frederick Fried's, who still makes these ballet shoes now. They've been going for 90 years, I believe, and they're in the West End in London. You have to smash the shoes to pieces before you can wear them.
Really? Because they rub and tear your feet up?
Yeah, they're really, really brittle.
So what are they made out of?
They're made out of leather, satin, but also this sort of hessian, which is wrapped round and round and round, glued, and then another bit glued, another bit glued, and then you have the satin over the top of it. And they have to bash it to make it the actual point flat. And the way that a ballet shoe is balanced is that they can stand it up and it stays there. but you can't dance with them unless you've actually personalised them. So I used to just rock them back and forward and break the back off them so that your arch would fit into it.
And how long do they last for? I mean, if you break them, they can't last that long.
Well, some ballerinas, a pair of shoes will last for one performance.
Wow.
And I think the Royal Ballet School last year, the Royal Ballet, had 13,000 pairs of shoes made for their dancers. That's point shoes. And it was £500,000
Wow.
they cost.
How long does it take to learn to get on point? Does it take, I mean, do you have to like stand there on point for quite a long time to get your balance?
This is a point where a lot of dancers give up. You know, they don't want to do it anymore. So it's gone from these nice little soft kid leather flat shoes to sheer agony. And it takes, and you're not allowed to do it when you're too young either.
Could be because your feet will get formed into that position.
Yeah. 13 years, I think, is the only time that you can start. You mustn't do it before that.
I mean, now do you miss doing ballet?
I do, actually, I do. I still occasionally do some limbering moves, but you've got to be very careful because you know, I'm not a young person anymore, and you can do some serious damage to yourself if you're not warmed up first properly.
Is it not like a simplified version?
Well, I mean, what I like to do is to do sort of hand movements, and I do a port de bras, which is when you do all the movements, 1, 2, 3. It's all numbered. All of the moves in ballet are numbered. So the basic foot, position 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. That's what it's all built around, and it's the same with the arms. So that just keeps your back nice and still strong.
I mean, it's obviously still a very important part of your life, because your book, the wonderful book you've just written, Defying Gravity, is a term you took from ballet.
It is, yeah. Defying Gravity really went from my head to my feet, and that's why the book is called Defying Gravity. It was partly to do. It starts at my head with my hair, because thank God for Elnett hairspray, so that was Defying Gravity. And it goes all the way through to my ballet and dancing in general. I mean, I used to love dancing and jumping about.
It also affected your attitude to life and everything, did it? So all the way through the punk period, in a sense, even though you weren't doing the ballet anymore, the way you stand, the way you're dressing, everything's a stage, isn't it? You're kind of dancing through the punk scene in a way, aren't you?
I do. It was one big dance, the whole thing. It was. And it puts you in good stead, like when I sang with Adam and the Ants. You know, you can see that, you know, you can hold yourself at the microphone well, and also you're used to working an audience in the right way.
Was Adam fascinated with your ballet?
Yes.
Yeah. So
very much.
What aspects of it fascinated him?
Well, the power of it. I used to use his. When he lived in St Mark's Crescent, he had this really great fireplace, which was made for him, a wooden fireplace. And I used to use that as a bar, so I would hold on to it, and I'd get him to push my leg up as far as it would go. But you have to do it gently, otherwise you can
rip yourself.
Yeah. But you know, that's pushing it right up high. And he loved it because, again, he's a very disciplined man, and he understands going through pain. And it resonates with him.
So the intensity of ballet was something that was... Because we talked about that before, the idea when people did a ballet performance, it's about utter perfection, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that's the same as a performer like Adam, who'd be cursing himself about a mistake he made 20 years ago or something. Yeah.
I mean, I remember once, Adam did this great gig at Radio City in New York. It's a famous stage because it's had the Rockettes on it, all those dancers. It's a massive, massive stage, and that man danced and sung all the way through it without getting puffed out or leaping in the air. He was amazing, and afterwards I said to him that was just astounding, really great. And all he could do is pick at it, pick fault with it.
Would that be similar?
That's exactly the same as most dancers. They will always look. I doubt if anyone's ever, Margot Fonteyn probably never came off the stage ever saying that she'd done a perfect performance.
Probably the closer people get, the further they feel they are.
Yeah,
As well.
yeah, it's a good point, actually, yeah.
So we only got half an hour, which is shorter
I
than
know.
most ballet performances. Isn't it? So I'm not going to ask you to do any ballet, but ladies and gentlemen, thanks to Jordan.
You've all heard something quite unique, actually. Okay.